Hey, this is DJ Ralph Joffrey from oldiesbutgoodiesradio.com. Stay tuned for another Ordinary People podcast. I know you won't be disappointed. Do your thing, Alan.
Why I felt the need to do this video and speak on this, because I put this post up where I spoke about how we are committing verbal genocide, verbal homicide, and verbal suicide every day. And I felt it was important to explain exactly what it is and exactly what you're doing. How a lot of times we can ignore certain things that's happening in society. How we can ignore the fact that we have an issue between the black community and the police. How we can ignore the fact that we don't agree or disagree with the current president. We can ignore the fact that financially this country is, on a roller coaster. We can ignore all those things because the fact of the matter is all those things doesn't seem to matter to most of us. Half of it does and half of it don't. The reality is one common ground that we all can meet on is that verbal homicide, genocide, and suicide has an effect on us all. Because regardless of how affluent your neighborhood is, no matter how big your bank account is, your social status, your celebrity, the reality is the words that we speak and others speak can still have the effect on us. And they still damage us the same. Because no bulletproof vest can protect us from those bullets. No Teflon can protect us from the stab wounds. No high gates can hide us from being assaulted by these verbal commandments or these verbal comments that's made towards us. We can shut the computer screen, we can shut off our phone, but we can't shut down our ears. Now, most of us are not going to listen, and we're going to take this video, and what you're going to do is you're going to sweep it under the rug. Then there's going to be other people that come to me after this video and say, you know what, that was a very deep video. And you know why they're going to respond, it's a very deep video? Because the honest to God truth is they're still not listening. You're still not hearing what I'm saying to you. You're not taking the information in and you're not understanding. And that same person who's going to make that comment, the same person who's going to breeze right past this video is going to be the same person that's going to still commit verbal homicide, genocide, or suicide. Okay, maybe you don't care about genocide, which means killing your own people, a person of your own kind. And I don't mean by race and I don't mean by gender. We all bleed the same, right? We all eat. And we all use the bathroom. We drink. And we all got to breathe air. So meaning we're all the same despite our color of our skin. Despite how much money we have, we all the same. So reality is, that's what I mean by genocide. And if you still know what genocide is, look it up so you understand the definition of it. If you don't know what homicide is, it's the same as murder. You're killing somebody. You're killing somebody because you choose to say something. Then I want to speak on the people who are pro-white or pro-black or pro-whatever. Think about this when you're killing. How much information are you really giving to people? If you really into inspiring people and your hopes is to inspire people to be better for themselves, to make a better life for their people, then inform them with all the information and don't give them details that fit your argument. Because see, one thing with this podcast I try my hardest not to do is I try not to be biased on my opinions. I try not to be biased on my thoughts. I'm going to give you all the facts, and guess what? Make your choice based on you, because what I don't want to do is sit in front of a camera or behind the mic and commit verbal homicide. I don't want to be a killer of your dreams. I don't want to be a killer of your hopes. I want to be a beacon of hope. I want to lead you down that path to find the information that's going to get you to being where you want to be, to that mountaintop that you want to go to. But you need to be careful of those choice of words, those people who use those pens to do the exact opposite. To kill you. And most of the time, you don't got to go too much further than your own doorstep. Sometimes all you got to do is turn over in bed and you'll see somebody that will spit negative verbs to you, spit negative comments to you that's willing to destroy everything about you. Whether it's your choice of religious beliefs, whether it's you trying to get a job, whether it's you trying to go to school and build a better life for you and your children, whether it's raising your children. You can find someone in your own home, in your own back door, right next door to you, that's willing to spit that verbal homicide to kill you, to destroy you. Because the most of the time, people, the thing is, it's all fear. At the end of the day, it's all fear with us. We fear the truth. And my wife always tells me, like, You need to speak the truth to people. You need to tell the people the truth. You need to stop holding back. And you know what I always say to my wife? People don't want to hear the truth. People don't need to know the truth, because if you knew the truth, you would scare. It would scare you. It would scare you right out your shoes. Because the truth of the things you don't see, it will really scare you. It will rock you to your core. If you really seen the statistics of how what you write on social media and the things you say to people, how it kills people, how it destroys people, how it belittles people, it will rally you to your core when you realize that not only did you commit the most egregious sin in the Bible, but how many times you committed that sin on a daily basis. Not monthly, weekly, yearly, a daily basis. We all walk around and we tease people. We make our little jokes and our little snickers at people. We point at people. And it's all in fun and games, because if they don't hear you, then it can't affect them, right? But what about the people that can hear you? What about that sister of yours who wants to go back to school? That you sit here and tell her that she'll never graduate because she failed 3 times. What about that man that just got out of prison and wants to turn his life around? Wants to be a father to his children, wants to be a better man, but you tell him you can't because you got locked up twice. What about that cousin of yours who wants to start a bakery? But you tell them they can't because you know of 3 bakeries they already closed. What about that woman who wants to have a baby, but you tell her she can't because despite multiple times of trying to get pregnant, no matter how many drugs she took to try to help her get pregnant, she's been unable. Think about how many dreams you killed. Think how many people you killed. Think about that. Okay, you have a difference of opinion on a person's sexual preference. Maybe you don't agree with people being gay or bisexual or lesbians. Maybe you don't agree with that. But think about this. How many people have you killed just because you don't understand or don't agree with somebody's sexual preferences? How many people did you push to that cliff to commit suicide because you didn't agree with it? Because your words spoke to them and made them so uncomfortable that they hide in that closet. They hide in that closet in that dark for so long that when they get tired of it, the only other option they see is death. And they only see death as an option because they lived in the dark so long. Think about the people who wants to read the Bible and wants to believe in God. But think about those who refuse to go to church and are fearful to even tell you that they're in God. Fearful to tell you they want to be pastors. They want to give themselves to God or to Allah or to Buddha because they're fearful of what you might say or what you might feel because you disagree with it, because you don't see things the same way. So we can talk about verbal homicide. We talk about verbal genocide. We talk about verbal suicide. But see, a lot of you just don't get it yet. Think about your kids. Think about your actions as a father, as a mother. Think about when you telling your kids, and I want y'all to pardon my French for you who have baby ears right now, but when you tell your kid they ain't shit and they ain't gonna never be shit. When you tell your son that he's gonna be like his father or his daughter, they're gonna be like their mother. Think about you killing them. Am I starting to pull out the strings of your hearts yet? Or are you still looking at this video thinking this don't affect me because I ain't one of those people who say that? Maybe you ain't accept the fact that a lot of times you're a big part of the problem. Maybe you're a victim of verbal homicide. Before I end this video, I want you to think about one more person because there's a big movement going on right now, and I think it's very important to speak on that before I end this video. I want to think about the MEtoo movement. I want you to think about all these women out here who are going to work being sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, verbally abused, physically abused, mentally abused. I want you to think about all these women who work their butts off just for a fair chance, for fair pay, only to go to work to be mistreated. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about and paint the picture of how your verbal comments force them to be fearful to speak about all these egregious things that are happening to them. Make them fearful to speak about being raped. Make them feel like they're not the victim, but the perpetrator. So when they're being sexually assaulted, when they're being sexually harassed, they feel like they're the reason it happened because we shame them so bad. I want you to think about your words, what you say to that. The women who are being abused by their husbands, and when they say they only stay in the name of love, they stay in the name of love, and we call them stupid. And we call them idiots because they didn't get themselves out of the situation. I want you to think about something. What do you think that's called? What do you think you're causing? I want you to take a step back for a second and realize something. The things you post on social media don't go away with a click of a button that says delete. It remains. It remains out there for the rest of your life. And it don't just affect you. It affects your children and all the people you love. See, verbal genocide, verbal homicide, verbal suicide, it's much more than about us. The things that go on in this world, things that we do, is more about than what we do and how we feel. It's about the people who we are touching and hurting. It's about the people's days we are ruining just because you woke up on the wrong side. Just because you failed. But understand, some people, just because you failed don't mean you can't succeed. Just because you lost something don't mean you can't find it again. Just because somebody stole something from you don't mean you can't never get it back. You got the power to choose your future, your destiny. But understand something too. Your words also have the power to affect other people's future and destiny. So I hope after you listen to this video, you give me your true feelings and comments. But more importantly, I hope you're more conscious of the things that come out your mouth. I'm Alan the Great. This is the Ordinary People Podcast, and I want to say peace.